Anyway, so hello and welcome back. It's Monday night here. We went up to Eastbourne today. Me and Emma's dad, we went up to Eastbourne and picked up well, like a hardtail chop motorcycle. So keep an eye open for that in the next few days. We're going to unload it from the van. It's like a part way through project, and Graham's going to take it on and finish it. So that was pretty cool. I didn't really film much because we were just in the van driving all day, so there wasn't anything to say other than that. It's just been me and him loading the fucking thing. So without further ado, tonight we're going to deal with the questions and answers. I put a video out just over a week ago. I said I'd do it a week later, and just the way shit's gone, it's just tonight instead. But yeah, we've had a reasonable turnout of some decent questions, so we'll get on with that, and that'll be tonight's video, I would have thought. But without further ado, we'll start with Dead Drop's first question, which was, what was the longest it's taken you to do a drawing, and what piece are you most proud of so far? Well, the longest it's probably taken me to do one piece would be for my A2 exams, I guess. My A2 art exam. We did fine art at school, and I believe it was 16 hours solid painting, but spread over like 3 days. And just on one particular thing, I don't work on particularly big artworks or anything very often. This was bigger than A3, so I'm trying to think of what I painted now. Oh, it was a load of cows because I was doing art. I was doing animals at the time for my A2 unit, but that's for another story. But yeah, that was the longest I ever spent doing one thing. Was probably 16 hours solid, just working on something. But what I'm most proud of so far, I mean, what can you say about that? I mean, I'm like probably most other artists in the sense that I'm never really that happy with the finished result. It's just one of those things. I mean, there's a few of them I like more than others for sure, but there's always something you'd change afterwards, or something you didn't quite like, or something didn't quite go the way you wanted it. But I mean, that's just the perfectionist that we have in some of us, But yeah, I don't know if I can answer that one, I mean, to me it's been I'm more proud of the effect it's had on people, like seeing people's reactions when they received them, and just the joy it's brought to certain people, and how proud people are of the artwork, which is astronomical, because, I mean, I'd never really given out artwork before. I'd never really done much. I just did it at school, and that was it, so apart from my teachers, who didn't really get on with me that well, saying it was alright, other than that, that was about the sum total I've had. But yeah, so that's about all I can say on that one, buddy. And we'll move on to Cuban 8585's first question. So it's, how did me and Emma meet? And that's probably a difficult question, actually. I don't really know exactly the details. We've known each other since we were probably 12 years old. We've known each other since we were kids, we sort of hooked up when it was my 20th birthday, I think, or round about. And yeah, we've been together about 8 years now, and yeah, I didn't really know how we met. Like I said, we've known each other our whole lives basically, so yeah, I mean, we met as kids. And do I have any tattoos? No, I don't. No, I've never had tattoos. I've never really... I like tattoos, I don't mind seeing them on other people, I can really appreciate the work that goes into them, and I mean, that's probably going to lead me to another question, but I can't remember whose question it was. I've got it written down here, but yeah, I don't have any myself personally. I've just never had the desire, or maybe even the money to go and do with that sort of thing. But beyond that, to me, it's always been one of those things that, if you were ever in trouble with the law per se, it's one of those markings on your body that they instantly take a photo of, and if you've got like birthmarks and shit, that's distinguishing enough features. As far as I'm concerned, I don't need anything like that, that could be used against me at any point. But I mean, that's probably just ridiculous. That's my excuse anyway. So that's my answer for that one, buddy. Gord, where does your mechanical knowledge come from? Well, my dad was a mechanic his entire life. He ran a garage of his own. He was foreman of other people's garages for years before that, and a pretty knowledgeable mechanic. He never really wanted me to have anything much to do with cars, but having said that, when I was 12, I probably had my first filled car. Before that, I'd been sort of messing about with fixing and driving tractors with the neighbour I lived next to at the time. That was how I spent my weekends. So then I had the filled car. I basically had to learn to drive that and keep it running myself. Then other friends with cars. Beyond that, everything else is just, like I said, Dad never really wanted me to do anything with it, but then I had my own cars later on the road and wanted to do this, that and the other. You know, I want to, let's say I want to, you know, lower cars. It's one of those things. I'd go buy a set of coilovers and slam it to the ground, but like, I couldn't afford to pay somebody to fit them, so I just had to bite the bullet. And you know, most of my, if ever, you know, don't get me wrong, I've learned quite a bit off of YouTube, but I've learned more by trial and error and by doing. I mean, I find half of the mechanical stuff is, I mean, it's not overly complicated. The issue that most people have is just like what would be the correct word to use here? Just to get over that fear of actually taking something apart. You know, once you've got it apart, you've got to get it back together again, buddy. So either way, you know, but yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things, and it's like mostly self-taught, I'd say. I mean, I have learned from all sorts of different people over the time. I mean, to the point where I've been employed for an entire summer as an agricultural fitter, repairing tractors and restoring tractors and yeah, farm machinery and whatever else. But it's literally just from stuff I've picked up along the way. But yeah, so that's the answer for that one. We got questions from Custom Med 420. The brother Rick out there. OG Kush, Skywalker OG, Bubba Kush, Northern Lights and Chair Crusher. But yeah, and beyond that, some that I don't like per se, like not necessarily like think they're disgusting or anything, but some that just don't appeal so much to me, but never not good for me. You know, never had an issue with anything like that. He's also asked what would be my dream vehicle. I'd have to weigh that up as well, because like you got to bear in mind I'm thinking about moving from the UK to Canada, and like our vehicles are shit in comparison to what you've got available over there. So I might completely change my mind when I get to the other side. I've always had a thing about Toyota Land Cruisers. You know, I like my Daihatsus, don't get me wrong, but if I had the money, I'd have a, you know, like an 80 series Land Cruiser with diff locks all round and all jacked up and all the gear on it. You know, that would be a truck for me, or a Nissan Patrol maybe. You know, either one of those two big names in off-road. Yeah, it'd have to be a 4x4 for sure. I mean, beyond that, it'd be something I built myself, but you know, and what would you call that? I don't know. But maybe one day. Also, he's asked when we're going to send Lola to his wife, and Emma's sat in the background shaking her head, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. I'm terribly sorry, Jackie, but we'll send you a photo. It's the best we can do at the moment. And I did see that photo Rick put on Instagram, and I tell you what, I haven't showed Emma yet, but it's fucking fantastic, buddy. I was really, really made me smile. So I will press the like button and everything. I'm just useless with Instagram at the moment. The issue I have is the smartphone, and I've never really had one before, and I can't, especially when it comes to typing, I can't really use the keypad on it. Just because I've fat fingers and I'm just fucking useless at it. But there you go. So that's another answer to that. We'll got one. Next question. Cuban Speed. Although the 99% distillates also would come into that category. You may notice the way I'm answering some of these questions might be a bit odd, but you know, people are asking me questions about this. Charlie DeVille. Where in Canada are we thinking about moving? Well, we'd like to go straight out to BC, but you know, basically we're of the opinion that we will go wherever we need to go to get work, to get visas, to make it happen. You know, at the end of the day, we're young enough to change things and, you know, move on out to BC later on if we had to, but that's where we want to go, you know. Don't get me wrong, there's some other lovely places there, but you know, it's just, there's nothing quite so quiet as out in where we were with old Chilibo and that. That's kind of like my picture of my ideal place to be, away from people and whatever, just away from all the bullshit. But anyway, yeah, the next question, dogs issues, something we really have to sort out at some point, but like we've discussed and we're weighing up the options, and I don't know. This is the long and short of it. I don't know if if I could do that, like you said about you couldn't put your dog through the flight. I mean, it's not just a flight; it's the weeks of quarantine afterwards. And fact is, Lola's getting on. She's 8. She's got cancer. She's had cancer removed from her before. Beyond that, Ruby's got epilepsy. She needs to be medicated 3 times a day, and I don't think the stress of all of it would do it very well. But I don't know. It's just one of these things. We're just still weighing up options. At the moment, that's probably the last thing we want to really decide. But I don't know. I don't know if it'd be a good idea or not. Yeah. And what's the other question I had written down? I missed it now. I went straight past it. Oh, loads of people have asked me about tattooing. And no, I haven't done any tattooing. Not saying I wouldn't do any tattooing, because as I've been made to be aware, it's obviously quite a good earner and whatever else. But I've never had a go at it. I've got availability of practice material, i.e. like pigs, trotters, and pig's flesh I can get a hold of quite easily, so I could have practice material, but I've not got the equipment and I can't afford to spend out on that at the moment. But maybe one day when I've got some expendable cash, I'll buy myself a setup and just have a go and see what happens, and beyond that we might be able to who knows, there might be a career in something like that, I don't know. But like I said, I'm looking for a way out of the way I'm going at the moment. I did that driving today and my fucking knees are killing me tonight. But yeah, we'll finally get it tomorrow. But yeah, that's the questions for this evening. And thank you very much for all your questions. And I think we'll probably just leave it open. So if anybody else has got any more questions, then please feel free to ask. But this was quite fun for me, and I think about some of these things. It's pretty well done on the spot, because, well, all my videos are sort of done on the spot. I don't have time to keep filming them, because I don't know what time it is now, but it's getting on 20 to 11, so like, if it doesn't get filmed the first time, it doesn't get filmed at all. But anyway, huge love to everybody for coming with us. Don't know what this week's going to bring, but I think we're probably going to see some starts of some improvements around Godforsaken, around the compound itself, because it's in dire need of some work doing. I'm probably going to try and get this truck started, the red one, whether I just pull the springs and the axle out. We've got to go up and, I say we've got to, why do I always make it, whenever I talk about Phil I make it sound really terrible. I'm sorry buddy, we've got to go up and see Phil. No, we're going up to see Phil the weekend, so I think it's this weekend. I need to double check with you buddy. But every time I do that, I did that in that Jenna video, didn't I, for whatever reason. Going up to Phil's, again, no, I'm awful. Anyway, poor old Phil. Yeah, I haven't heard from you this week. I hope the truck's alright and that. You said it was good the other day, so that's good news. I see you're online now, buddy, so I might speak to you in a second. It's weird how all this works, isn't it? But anyway, yeah, blabbering on about fuck all again. So, huge love. Thanks for coming with us. Watch this space. See what this week will bring us. Who knows? We're still trying to build this channel, so like, comment, share, subscribe and all that bullshit. I know I don't usually try and ask you for it, but like, we are trying to build the channel, and if you can help us along the way, please do. If not, don't worry about it. But thanks for doing everything you do. So, huge love. Cheers. What do I say? Holy fuck, boys, it's questions and answers. I can't say holy fuck boys, it's questions and answers. No. But anyway, we gotta do questions and answers.
That sounds so dulcet.
Back in the power? Eh? Am I recording?
Yes.
Oh shit. How do I start then?
We need to welcome everybody to your questions and answers.
Welcome everybody to my questions and answers.
That's a nice game.
Nice face. Isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.